Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today we got to talk about the absolute chaos that is going on in Oakland and how the dying administration of Mayor Shang Tao and all those other people that worked in tandem with this woman have decided that the appropriate response to this spike in crime, this ongoing insurgence from the criminal, is to cut police funding because guess what? Enough of their businesses actually went out of business that their tax base is absolutely devastated, and they can't afford law enforcement, and essentially they're setting up the next mayor for this death spiral in terms of what they're going to do after they get sworn in. Now, we got to talk about this, but before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay.
Now, before we get into the state of Oakland right now, I actually think it is incredibly important to play this clip for you that Nate, the lawyer, friend of the channel, is also fond of playing for the same reason, which is the state of Oakland before the Black Lives Matter riot.
Yeah, good news is certainly welcome. This is a city that has averaged more than 100 homicides a year for the last 4+ decades. And today, Oakland leaders releasing the annual crime data report, which they say shows a steady 5-year decline in shootings, homicides, and robberies.
Because a lot of you will say, Oakland was always terrible, Oakland was always awful, but that was not the case prior to the Black Lives Matter riots. In fact, Oakland was improving dramatically. They undid this with bad policy and bad politicians.
There were 75 homicides occurring in Oakland last year. That is down from 85 in 2016, and that follows that downward trend. 2016 brought a 12% drop in violent crime versus the 5-year average and a 20% drop in robberies. The police department has credited the improvement on a more prominent police presence and getting help from the community. With better technology, more residents and business owners are giving police video evidence of crime.
The reason that I'm fond of playing that is because we are not that far removed from a time in Oakland where all manner of criminality was down significantly, and homicides in particular were down near 50-year lows. This is something that is obtainable, and call me crazy, call me a conspiracy theorist, but I think the way that you would obtain that is by going back to the policies that they had in the mid-2010s, because that is when they had the ideal results. But again, I'm a radical right-wing lunatic who just hates criminals for no reason, so why would anybody listen to me?
A mob ransacking a gas station, a car catching fire, a sideshow spectator getting hit and flying into the air.
Now look, I had to redact the video of the person being struck by the vehicle, even though I believe that they were not seriously injured from that vehicle strike due to YouTube's terms of service. In fact, I recently got demonetized for a second of unredacted footage in a previous video, which I find to be really annoying. But the fact that all of this went down over the course of a weekend in Oakland, and this isn't even unusual according to the residents.
Many residents say nothing to see here, just another weekend in Oakland.
Should be shocking to the conscience of the American people, but unfortunately it is normal as told to us by the residents of Oakland themselves.
Not surprised at all.
No, it happens all the time. You hear gunshots. This is every weekend. Every single weekend. They do donuts out here. They fight.
Deborah Harper says it's become lawless and dangerous. She carries a can of mace just to smoke a cigarette outside of her uptown apartment.
For safety. And I've had to use it once.
So here you have a regular, ordinary person in the city of Oakland who has to deal with the consequences of the increased criminality. She ends up carrying a mace, which is a force multiplier, in order to deal with potential threats whenever she steps out of her apartment. And by the way that this was framed, when I first saw it, I thought we were going to hear about her moving out of the city of Oakland because she's right next to a U-Haul truck. Now maybe, just maybe, that is the very same U-Haul truck that was stolen from San Francisco with all the worldly possessions of the defund the police activists. And would that not be an ironic plot twist for this tale, that somebody who got their U-Haul truck stolen that was a defund the police activist ended up finding that U-Haul inside a story about defunding the police? But obviously that is my headcanon for this particular story, and we should focus more on the fact that this is a disturbing reality, and this woman has lived in Oakland long enough to remember the good days, which were just 8 years ago, when Oakland was improving in every regard in rapid fashion.
She's learned to sleep through sideshows outside of her unit since it happens so often. The sideshow that happened near her, San Pablo Avenue and 17th Street, on Sunday morning didn't even wake her up. She says, nope, not surprised that someone set a BMW on fire as the police were breaking up the sideshow.
It makes me feel like getting the hell out of Oakland. I'm trying to get out of here, unfortunately. I wish I could live right here comfortably, feel safe.
Look, the human capacity to normalize ridiculous and absurd behavior is beyond measure. This woman is talking about how the sideshows are so common in the city of Oakland that this one didn't even wake her up. And you could just hear from the video footage that they're playing how loud it is, and imagine how loud it would be if you were trying to sleep in an adjacent building to where this was going down. And when the guy asked her if she was surprised that a BMW that was likely stolen was set on fire when the police tried to bust this up, she says, no, not surprised at all. This is just normal, and it's sick that it's become normal. She wants to get out of there, and she feels like it's unfortunate that she does because this is somewhere that she originally wanted to live, and there likely may have been a bunch of different reasons for her to want that. But the fact of the matter is, Oakland is insanely expensive in terms of housing because California has absurd housing policies, and this is what you're paying those high prices for. This is what you're paying a premium for in the city of Oakland, and that is just unbelievable. It's not right. It's not justifiable. And the crazy thing about this, if you guys will remember, long-term viewers of this channel, is that one of the proposed solutions to these crazy sideshows is for them to be legalized, because that way they can have fun, blow off some steam, and we could just deal with the fact that they're in this location and we could pretend like it's okay. When in reality, the solution is send the police there. There are thousands upon thousands of people gathered on all these different weekends while they're doing all this dangerous stuff. And if you deployed the police, if you arrested people and, call me crazy, held them accountable for their crimes after they were arrested, this would stop really quickly. But the fact of the matter is, along with the ineffectual mayor Shang Tao, they also had a district attorney that covers this area, Pamela Price, who is also recalled, who doesn't want to prosecute anyone for anything. On top of that, Prop 47 was also in effect during this period of time that it was going down, so you couldn't even really prosecute people seriously due to those facts, due to those factors. Now, Prop 47 has been repealed via Prop 36, which, by the way, passed in each and every county in the state of California. Pamela Price has been tossed out. Shang Tao has been tossed out. But the fact of the matter is, in a lot of ways, the damage is done because now they're facing a budget shortfall, and they might have to remove money from the police, which is something that they did when Shang Tao took office, and guess what? That led to disastrous results, so we're likely to see things in Oakland get significantly worse. And by the way, every time we cover this area, it's something different, but all under the same umbrella. All those businesses in the strip near the airport that are going out of business because of car break-ins, guess what? That hasn't changed. It's only gotten worse, and more businesses have closed since we last talked about it. Not just the In-N-Out, which famously is the first ever In-N-Out in 76 years to close its location, and that was the only location in the city of Oakland. The car thefts, the crazy sideshows, the violence, all of that stuff has gotten significantly worse, but for whatever reason, these left-wing idiots want to pretend like it's no big deal, despite the fact that good people, residents of Oakland, are fleeing the city. And if they haven't left by now, they're planning their escape. And of course, this is leading to a devastation of the tax base, which lessens the funding for the police, which makes the crime problem worse, which drives more people and businesses away, and so on and so on, and the death spiral continues. So hopefully their new mayor can remedy these situations. Hopefully having a real prosecutor as the Alameda County District Attorney can fix some of this, but they are in a bad spot. They are in a death spiral, and it's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of will in order to reverse this, and I just hope these people have the will for those changes.
All night long, we're chasing around trying to deal with it. At one point, a police vehicle was damaged during that. There was also 2 gunshot victims that were struck in gunfire from the sideshow.
Oakland police say the 2 gunshot victims are in stable condition.
Now look, I know a lot of people on the left wing are going to say, Sean, you just don't understand. These people aren't hurting anyone. They're just expressing their issues with their material conditions and trying to feed their starving families by having sideshows that are just messing around with stolen cars, keeping everybody up at night, hitting random people that attend those sideshows, shooting 2 others, and then deciding to celebrate and cap off the evening by committing a flash mob robbery. Because guess what? That's exactly what happened in this particular story.
And around 2:30 in the morning, a mob of roughly 50 people broke in and ransacked the Coliseum Shell gas station on Hagenberger Road. The gas station owner says the clerk, who was working alone, feared for his life.
He reached inside the restroom and he locked himself in the restroom and turn off the lights.
Now again, I know some of you might be a little bit confused by this because it looks like they're still protesting on behalf of George Floyd, but to be clear, this is what we call looting. This is what we call robbing a store, and they took everything. And again, a lot of these gas stations, even though they have the big corporate oil name on said station, are owned by these individuals. They're small businesses, and they make their money off of what's in the store, while the oil company makes their money off the licensing fee, and of course, the gas that is being sold to you. But these people took all the cash. This guy ended up having to hide in the bathroom with the lights off because he was so scared of the mob of people. They took all the drinks, all the scratchers, all the smokes, everything and anything they could get their hands off of. And in addition to that, there was property damage to this because why not have a little fun, destroy a little more while this is all going on? And again, this is presented as normal or no big deal, nothing to worry about. This is the exact kind of crime, and these are the exact type of criminals that Pamela Price would have no interest in prosecuting. And you have to hold these people accountable. You think that this is their first time stealing? You think this is their first time causing a public disturbance at one of these sideshows? Absolutely not. But when you have a criminal justice system that refuses to serve up justice to the criminals on behalf of the victim, this is the result. Repeated crime over and over and over again. People thinking that your city will never be solved, even though, again, less than a decade ago, Oakland was on a great track. They just turned it around due to the implementation of these left-wing policies.
The station owner suspects these people were probably some of the same people who were doing the sideshows. Police are still investigating that. The owner says they took all the cash, cigarettes, scratchers, and most of the merchandise. The estimated damage around $50,000.
Really raises the questions, is Oakland is a third world country compared to those guys, because it's worse than them.
Because of a major budget deficit, the city is planning to cut police funding and cancel 2 academies. That would shrink the already understaffed police force down to 600 officers.
So I just want to point out that while the local news reporter was talking about the budget shortfalls of Oakland, we actually can see on the video somebody doing the property damage that's totally unnecessary for a starving innocent Beba Angel Aladdin to participate in by graffitiing all the different various things. So now the people who own this place, the people who work there, are going to have to clean that stuff up. They're going to have to replace it. And why? Because this scumbag thought he was entitled to graffiti all over it. It's disgusting behavior, and anybody who excuses it is disgusting. This is not an innocent Beba Angel Aladdin trying to feed his starving family. This is somebody trying to maximize the destruction because guess what? These people are having fun.
Because of a major budget deficit, the city is planning to cut police funding and cancel 2 academies. That would shrink the already understaffed police force down to 600 officers. They're not alone. All city departments will likely see significant cuts to prevent bankruptcy.
It's very difficult to police with the dwindling numbers. We have to figure out what calls we have to take care of first, which ones stand for 4 or 5 days. I've been to people's homes and I'm apologizing about taking 4 days to take the stolen vehicle report. It's embarrassing for me.
Deborah says residents and businesses are the ones getting hurt.
You've got to keep the policemen, keep the fire department, cut somewhere else.
But you guys also heard about the budget cuts. And to be clear, obviously other avenues of government are also going to be trimmed back, but Oakland police can only take so much, and reducing them down to 600 officers when already they lack the personnel to respond to this is insane. In addition to that, it costs more per officer since the Black Lives Matter riots because they have to incentivize people to actually work in the city of Oakland, especially when you had a district attorney who was far more interested in prosecuting cops rather than criminals, and public sentiment has churned so much against the police. So they're paying a ton of money for their police. The costs of defunding the police are immeasurable because not only does the initial funding cut cost you officers, but then it costs you more money in order to try to bring back officers. So you're spending more and getting worse results. So it's a disaster from top to bottom. But of course, the human cost, the economic cost of crime and people's lives far outweigh even that, and it's only going to get worse for the city of Oakland unless, again, the new mayor has some innovative ideas about how to save these businesses, how to assist the tax base. It's just going to get significantly worse. Now, of course, I want to know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. If you like the video, show them by leaving a like. Subscribe for more content. Follow me on my social media. Support me with the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about the disaster in Oakland. Till next time.